And I want to focus on the San Francisco 49ers for a second, who now back-to-back losses, both very close games in the grand scheme of things, but both were very winnable games. I mean, they weren't going up against Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, and they were going up against a Justin Jefferson-less Minnesota Vikings, as he's still hurt for another few weeks. And they lost both these games. And there's been a lot of ridicule for Brock Purdy. And the reason that I want to bring this to the forefront of this conversation is because I think we need to take a step back and understand that this is Brock Purdy's second year in the NFL. Obviously, he had this incredible rookie season where, this mystery relevant kind of comes in under Kyle Shanahan, is this perfect, quarterback, takes them to the NFC Championship, but gets hurt. There's all this hype around him, and he also has this great start to the second year of his campaign. But the fact that people are now saying, oh, he's a system quarterback, or the hype isn't real, or he's not elite, people need to chill. This is a guy who, in his second year as a quarterback, his winning percentage is incredible. Obviously, he's on an amazing team, but you can't discredit what he's doing. He's going to go through some rough patches, and he's going to figure that out. All of the greats did it. Peyton Manning was not great his first couple years. Andrew Luck, not great his first couple years. Tom Brady's a bit of an anomaly, so I can't really put, but I guess there has been that comparison of Brock Purdy coming in injured to Tom Brady, and both being drafted later in their respective drafts. But I think we need to not hate on Brock Purdy. Yes, these were games they should have won. And in the Cleveland game, he drove the field and put his team in the best position to win with a 41-yard field goal that was missed. And he threw some bad picks against Minnesota. But I just think, the way that the media really just clamped onto the idea of Brock Purdy not being elite was just a bit too harsh. And I want to get your perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly have two thoughts. And I think one's positive, and everything you said about Brock Purdy is true. I mean, this guy, we talked about Christian McCaffrey over the last 16 games. They came in at the same time, McCaffrey and Purdy, right? They really did it, and he just went on this absolute tear. And I think the story of Mr. Irrelevant being this amazing guy, nearly took San Fran to the Super Bowl, has Super Bowl aspirations. Yes, there's been a lot of hate on him. Should he have played better against Minnesota than Cleveland? Absolutely. You take out Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams on most teams, their version of a Trent Williams and a Deebo Samuel, and those teams are going to struggle. But I will say, and Brock Purdy definitely got outperformed by PJ Walker, and he got outperformed by Kirk Cousins in both games. So it wasn't like he was the better quarterbacks, and there was a couple of things that happened. He hadn't turned the ball over pretty much at all, and then he's turned the ball over a couple times against Minnesota, and he had a fumble and a turnover, an interception against Cleveland. So he has turned the ball over. But the thing that I came away from this Monday Nighter, and I could talk about Kirk Cousins on another topic about how impressed I was with him without Justin Jefferson and with guys like Addison and Brandon Powell and TJ Hawkinson stepping up. But for me, what I saw on Monday was the reason why Brock Purdy was chosen so late. It's a great story, and I think he's a great quarterback. But you saw some of the deficiencies that he has as a quarterback. When he loses a weapon, obviously, again, you take CeeDee Lamb out of Dallas, you take A.J. Brown out of Philly, you take these top guys out of their teams, the teams are going to struggle. Ayuk was still there. I think he had 50 yards in the first half and then really had nothing in the second half. I think Kittle started going in the second half after a slow first and a half. CMC was doing his thing. But I definitely saw a lot of plays where he wasn't reading the zone differently. Yes, he's still early. He could still be a great quarterback. They clearly, there were the memes of him I saw the Bradley Cooper hangover, we screwed up, and saying to Dallas, we shouldn't have given up on Trey Lance. I don't think that they're going to go to Sam Darnold unless Brock Purdy is hurt. But when you looked at that last throw, it seemed like he was forcing something in there. You're right. He can't control Jake Moody missing a 41-yard field goal against Cleveland, but they'll point the direction at him. He didn't have a good day, so you can blame the missed kick at the end of the day by your rookie kicker, or the fact that if they played better throughout the day, they would have never been in that situation. The defense is doing their job. You never have to worry about that defense as long as Fred Warner and Bosa and Greenlaw. I forgot his name. Greenlaw. Thank you. Sorry, I just had to say it a few times in my head. Greenlaw, Greenlaw, Greenlaw. But they have so many great players on defense that they're always going to be in these one possession games. Can you make those plays in the crucial moments? And again, Purdy had a chance, and unlike in Cleveland where he marched his team down, he didn't march his team down, right? And he did struggle. He got his team to, I think, the 45, so he was moving the ball, but then in a key play, he forced something into a place where there seemed to be 3 Minnesota guys and not any San Francisco guys around. So that's what my takeaway was. Not that we should be harsh on Purdy and that a couple games will, put him in a situation where they have to think about the quarterbacks, but they're going up against Cincinnati coming off a bye, who looked very good defensively against Seattle at home right before their bye. Is Joe Burrow a little bit healthier? This is a team that could easily go into San Fran and give the 49ers their third consecutive loss. And again, both those games were on the road. Cleveland in the rain, a very tough place. We were there. We saw it. We showed it in the last podcast. We were at the Cleveland game on a beautiful day. It's a very tough place to play in, regardless of the dog pound. Minnesota, Monday night, primetime, Kirk showed up. He just balled out. So my takeaway, Purdy, not too worried. They still have so much talent around them that they're going to be fine. They'll still end up winning the NFC West. But I saw things that were creeping in that made me think, this is why he went 109. There's so many teams passed on him, and it's because he still has to learn and figure out the game, but really understand that you don't have a big arm. He's not throwing deep balls like Patrick Mahomes and Herbert can do. He doesn't have the ability to run out of the pocket like a Josh Allen can, or Lamar Jackson. So his strengths somewhat are within the system, but it's a matter of having everyone available and making sure you just know first target, second target, third target, and making those throws on time. And he'll be fine. It's just the last few weeks have shown me a little bit more that he is not bulletproof, and that he can be affected. And you get pressure on his face like any quarterback, and he's going to make bad mistakes.
Yeah, I think those are all valid points, and I definitely agree with a lot that you have to say. I think I was just more trying to emphasize that, like, the critics can be harsh, and you gotta drown out that noise. And I'm sure Kyle Shanahan still has a lot of faith in Brock Purdy, but yeah, we gotta just remember that he's still a second-year quarterback. He's going to go through these mistakes and these adjustments, and he'll be better for it.